Welcome to another episode of Inspired Voices. My name is Oliver Riera, and this is Henry Moore the Third.
The third, yes.
How you doing, buddy?
Doing great. How you doing?
Doing good. I appreciate you coming by.
Oh yeah, that's no problem. I appreciate the invite.
Yeah, first time in the studio.
Yes.
What you think?
I think it's great.
Yeah?
I think it's great. I definitely like the way you got the frame. And the
Yeah.
background is dope.
I trust your opinion a lot.
You trust my? Well, I appreciate that. You know.
I mean, I've known you for like over 12 years, and you have the ability to know the truth, but the truth always, is in a general sense, where it. What am I trying to say? It's like if you say that it's good,
yeah.
then it's good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Between everybody else, it's the whole thing.
Oh, I
is
see
good.
what you're saying. It's not like from a selfish standpoint of like, hey, that's nice. Like, oh, it's nice to me.
Right.
I'm looking. It's like a broader sense of
Yeah.
Okay. I understand it. Yeah, I do try to think about what other people think about other people when I'm saying things like that, especially in public. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
I mean, it's a better way to, especially in our industry. Like, there's a bunch of people looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we got to communicate so it makes it makes sense.
Got to be good for the audience and all that stuff.
Yeah. And I think I kind of buffer a lot anyway. I always did that anyway. So I think that's where that comes from too. So
where do you think that comes from? Is because like, is that something like you had to learn, or is that it's like kind of an instinct for you?
I think it's instinctive now, but I think it's just, just from like growing up, it was like, oh, I was always like buffering between like maybe my parents and stuff like that. But I never really noticed that, It's
Gotcha.
It's funny because I started like recently going to therapy, and it's like, it's like, oh, that's why I do certain things. So one of the things that was pointed out, like everybody I was kind of hanging around was like, I was making sure everybody was okay. But
Yeah.
Which is not necessarily a bad thing. I guess in my sense, as long as you understand why you're doing something or why it's that way, it's not a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
So in the way we work in our industry, it's a great thing to understand like, hey, this is going to make people all flow in this direction without being upset at each other.
Right.
It's a great, I guess, instinct or characteristic to have.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
Yeah.
And good leadership too.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, that like correlates with one another.
Yeah.
So
You definitely got to take others in consideration for that.
Exactly.
Unless you get them tyrants,
Uh-huh.
whips. Just do it, son. Like
What you doing?
do it faster.
Why don't you tell everyone what you do?
Again, I'm Henry Moore the Third, and I mean, I guess right now, my specialty is live event production, but really anything media, that's me. I've been like in and out of music studios since I was like 14. I kind of figure out stuff on my own. Like somebody gave me this crazy sequencing keyboard. I just figured it out. I had no instruction manual. Nothing
Was
else.
that like the first thing that you did?
Yeah. A big producer, he heard some stuff I was doing with this like little machine. He was like, man, you need this. And they gave me this huge keyboard. I'm like, I didn't even have a license or nothing. I'm trying to ride around with it on my bike and stuff. But
Yeah.
I was like, there's no manuals. Like, it was just like, I got to figure it out.
Uh-huh.
And that's what I did. I sat there and figured it out.
So what you were obviously you were interested in it. If
I was.
figured it out.
I was like,
Was it the figuring out part that you liked, or was it the fact that it created these noises or things?
oh,
coming
I
out
was
of it?
I was hoping it was going to take me to the next level because at the time, like I said, I was way younger. This is I'm not trying to be a rapper or producer now, so don't nobody think I'm. But it was like, oh, I'm a rapper, but I was a young kid. But I would embarrass a lot of adults. So, and I had no money, so that kind of hurts too. But it's like nobody's trying to help me out because you got no money, and you gonna make me look bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, where do I get music from? Then I was like, oh, I just make my own music. So I went from there trying to figure things out. Then somebody's like, oh man, you can use this to make your stuff better. I was like, oh, I can make my stuff better. So that's what made me. Is just determination and like, hey, I'm gonna figure this out.
Yeah. Were you surrounded by like musicians and rappers and all that? Like, why'd you get into that in the first place?
Man, honestly, I couldn't even tell you. I just kind of fell into it. And it's kind of weird because I think that's why I connected with so many people, honestly, in my life. Music was always a connection. I was just, a nerdy kid. I didn't, care about sports too much. I could play sports, but didn't really, care about it. And it's not even like I was real great in it anyway. But like I hung out with all the cool kids, like at one of the schools I was at. Captain of the basketball team, stuff like. Everybody's like, hey, these are all popular. I'm just a guy who can make beats and I rap, and we just have that shared passion for like hip hop music. That's really what it was.
Yeah.
So and it just kind of kept going because I'm like, I'm just trying to make this, just being a creative really. I think the creative part was always something I was trying to do, and that was just like another outlet instead of drawing and like, hey, I was making music or I was rapping.
You like spend hours in your room and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. I had books and books. Like I would just go through books.
Oh, nice.
Books. Like I was writing all the time, front, back. Like I couldn't go nowhere without a rhyme book. It was just.
Would you rhyme to beats or rhyme first and then find a beat?
Both.
Okay.
So again, like, I had no money, so I had to be strategic. Like if I'm in the studio sitting there and somebody says like, hey, you can go, I had to be ready. So it was like I had a bunch that I just memorized a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And then
you think that's how people freestyle now? Like usually?
It goes both ways because I did both because I was actually like a real, and this is another reason why people thought I embarrassed them because we would freestyle that's going over top of the head, and I would embarrass you. It would just hey, we go to especially at the lunch table, somebody beating on the table, and you're basically snapping on each other and rhyming, so it's like, yeah, how good is his metaphors or assembly, how good is his entendres or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I was good at that, and I'm gonna embarrass you in the same sense. I'm showing my lyrical skill. Plus, I was real witty. Right. And you got to be quick with it too, because to come up with something like, "Hey, I'm gonna talk about your mama, your shirt, what you said in class yesterday, or what you just said to me." You have to say that on the fly and make it rhyme to a beat and a pattern and stuff. Like I was real good at that.
Not just that, but like also the confident level has to be there too, right?
Which is crazy because I was shy. But I wasn't shy when it came like something like that. I would just do it. But yeah, I was.
Yeah, I feel like if you're confident like 98% of the time doing that, it still won't hit. I feel like it has to be like 100%.
Yeah, I mean,
for that kind of thing,
I mean, you don't have to be. I think you just don't have to. Just don't think about it. I think that's the biggest thing. You do have to have some kind of an ego to do. I think with rap and hip hop in general, because like, hey, I'm the best. But while I was doing it, it wasn't like I was thinking about like, man, I need to be confident or I have fear in some guy or something like that. I was like, nah, I'm about to eat this guy's face off. Like I'm about to let him. I'm gonna give him a reason why he shouldn't talk to me any kind of way.
Right.
So, but again, I was like the shy, nerdy kid. So as soon as the bell rings, we go to another class. It was just like, yeah.
You think that helped you with school as far as like not having any bullies, maybe, or did you still have bullies from that?
Nah, actually. I mean, I may have had one bully back when I was in second grade, but I wasn't like rhyming in.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like a real bully. It was just like weird. But everywhere else, I was just always cool with people. So there was never like a bully like, hey, I'm gonna beat you up after school. Like I knew a bunch of people, know. So it was like why are you gonna? I think that's more the statement that came more than like why you messing with him? He doesn't do anything to nobody. You know what I'm saying? He's cool. Right. Like why? So if anything, I get a lot of people to stand up for me, even though there's nothing to stand up to. It's like, why are you messing with him? It just doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you see my demeanor. It's like, I don't go nowhere to play a tough guy or anything like that. I'm not going anywhere to really intentionally embarrass somebody.
Yeah.
Unless you try to embarrass me, I do. Like I said, just from rhyming, I am a little witty, so I could embarrass you without you even knowing, you know. But
it's like your secret power right there.
Yeah. But for the most part, especially, all right, so I went to Texas. I was in Texas for a little while when I went to school.
Okay.
Like I started in Long Island, halfway through kindergarten, went to Texas because my father, got stationed at Fort Hood.
Gotcha.
Now, those school systems, it was real like dandelions and stuff that like, it wasn't really I don't remember nothing crazy happening in school. So to go from that to go back to Long Island, there's like kids switching beepers, they got switchblades. It's like a little bit different. But my mentality was still the same. It was just kind of like, just happy-go-lucky, just going to school,
Interesting.
But I had a lot of family that was around too. So, if anybody thought about doing anything, it probably changed their mind after they knew who my family was, So.
Gotcha.
But again, I wouldn't do anything to provoke anybody anyway.
Right.
Kind of weird, but it worked out to my benefit, I should say.
Yeah. Now, when you were doing it, did you want to become a rapper at the time?
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, I
you-
definitely did. That's
yeah,
so I
okay.
was definitely putting my reps in just to do that.
Gotcha.
You know, so it was. I mean, it was fun. I got offered a couple of deals, nothing crazy, but it was just,
Yeah.
you know, I was
Something to
around.
take you up to the next level, I'm sure, right?
What, the deal stuff?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I mean, the couple it was just, I mean, it was all kind of weird. So, you know, I don't think nothing came from it. The production stuff, like I got invited to, you know, go on tours, and I actually did help out with a song that came out, but I was like doing ghost production. So
Oh, nice. Ghost production.
yeah, basically, so I helped the guy with the music, but my name wasn't on the music.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I was young then too. I was still riding to the guy's house on my bike. I would carry a duffel bag full of discs and stuff, and I'm like, you know, just trying to figure things out. But yeah.
Interesting.
So I got around a lot of different people.
Yeah.
You know, so it was cool. A lot of people in the business. It was fun.
Did you ever try to because I know you don't rap now anymore or anything like that, but
Yeah.
I guess when you were getting out of it, did those people kind of help you get to the next stage of whatever you were gonna do? Because you did production, music production.
Yeah. I mean, because like even out of that situation, it was like that was kind of weird. I don't want to say it was kind of weird. All right. So the guy liked what I was doing. He saw I was young, and he was with everybody. It was like low key and everybody. So it was crazy. And then luckily he only lived like 8 blocks from me, so I'm like riding my bike to his house if he's there, because he'll be in LA, whatever. So if he's there, I'm rolling up. And then I just remember like after that he's in LA. He's like calling me and one of my other friends, because like at the time we was like partners in rhyming, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And he's calling us like 3-4 in the morning, because it's like kind of late where he's at, but like in our time it's like, yeah, we about to go to school, like what do you want, kind of thing. And he's like trying to give us contracts and stuff, but just you know, it just didn't work out just for whatever reason.
Right.
You know, so I wouldn't say it just took me to the next level. Just like kind of helped say like, man, you are good enough to try to do some more stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Because really, essentially, and I didn't realize this till later. It was like I was always kind of waiting for that seal of approval, like, hey, you are good enough to do this. And I think that's probably what's stopped me from going further than I could have when I was younger.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Yeah.
It's like the seal of approval, right? Especially from people who are important to you. And stuff like that.
And it wasn't even that. I just thought there was like even with music, it was like, man, how do I get to this next part? And I didn't understand it till I went to school for like music production and stuff, like engineering. It was like, how do you do this thing? Or what gives? Why would anybody come to me to mix a song? Why should they come? I need to, you know, go to this school. And you go to the school and it's like you're helping the teachers. It's like, or you had to learn the stuff on your own. You're like, all right, so maybe, you know, don't get me wrong, I did learn a lot of stuff from a lot of teachers, but some teachers I actually had to help them through the class because they didn't know. And then I'm figuring a lot of stuff out on my own. I'm like, so I didn't really need anything. I could have just did it and it'd been fine, you know, but I didn't know that till way later.
Gotcha. So you got into into the recording studio, the school, audio school.
Right.
Is that because of the rapping?
It was because I was trying to get out of all that. Like, because, you know, essentially
you're
it was
trying to get
like,
out of it. Okay.
Yeah, because it was like I can do it, you know, and I was doing a lot of beats then. And there was a guy I ran into. It was funny. I was like working at Walmart or something, and he had a friend there. He's like, man, your stuff is crazy. You need to meet this guy. And I met this guy. The guy was real cool, and he was talking about he was going to the school, you know, to learn how to engineer. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'll try that too. And then, you know, we wound up, you know, going to the school. And then once I got there, because I was just thinking that in the terms of like, how can it was just like a turning point in my life. Like, how do I take care of myself with what I'm doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, survival, right?
Exactly. So it's like, okay, like it's cool that you can rhyme and make beats and you can be good. But if you think about it, it's really like a lottery ticket. Like, how many rappers do you know and how many rappers are there really? You know? And I don't want to do all that stuff that rappers do. So I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to be up all night for no reason. I don't like clubs. And I don't like a bunch of fake people. So it was just really counterproductive for me to go into an industry in that way, because that's not, you know, who I am.
So you like the behind the scenes more.
Exactly.
In the recording studio.
Exactly. I could be around the passion of hip hop that I like.
Yeah.
I could work in it, but I don't have to really be in it. Like, let all the other people do that,
Right.
Which wound up being a superpower for me because it was like, hey, I can write, I can produce, I can engineer. Like, I understand all facets of the song. I can help you count your bars. I can help you with enunciating and, your inflections. I can help you with all this stuff. And I can get it, on the track for you so you can sound good.
Yeah.
So it just wound up making me like, 10 times better engineer than anybody else.
Did you, were you still like in the studio recording music for artists while you were in school and then after school?
So basically,
Because I feel like a switch happened during school, right?
Yeah, so like while I was in school, like I'm still doing like my own production. I was, doing my own songs and stuff. And then it just came a time like, I ain't doing nothing. I don't feel like doing it, right? And it was funny because like the whole time I was young, I was like, I want to make my own album and stuff. And I had all the means to do it. And I was like, I don't feel like doing this.
Yeah.
So what I would do is it was almost like levels to when you can go into the studio on your own and things like that. Yeah, I didn't listen to any of that. I got cool with certain people and I figured out, oh, this person gave me a code key to the studio. Now I don't need anybody. I just go in at my leisure. I'm not supposed to be in there because it's like you have to take these certain classes to get there. I just got the codes. Now I'm in there and I'm in there messing up because again, I don't know what I'm doing. I didn't go to the classes to really know what I'm doing.
Gotcha.
I was just in there. But I was in there so much and I was bringing people in like, hey, we're going to record this song. And I'm in there figuring it out while they're trying to record. I'm just trying to figure it out. And that's basically how I learned. I just learned by trial and error.
Yeah.
And I was in there so much that they would do like school tours every Saturday. I come in there on Saturday. Again, I know the codes, so I'm not asking permission for nothing. So I go in there and I get the codes. I'm bringing people over to record. And when they had the tour come through, like I know I can't, like most of these guys are cursing and stuff. I can't have them doing that while, so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to pause the session when they come in. And at first it was just like, hey, what's this guy doing here? But when they came in and I show the lights flash and I let them listen to a song, I'm helping them, sell the school to these parents and students. So that worked out perfect for me, and it just got so crazy that you can literally call the front office at the school and they would just send somebody to the back to come get me. Because I'll just be in the studio. I'll be in the studio.
Damn.
That's one thing you could count on. Like hey, this is school of whatever. And they'd be like, yeah, it's third there, like third. Yeah, hold on 1 second. And somebody's gonna run to the back to the studio, come get me so I can get the phone.
Damn. It's like your own little office there.
Yeah, right. It was funny. It was funny. Yeah, I had a reputation in there. So not in a bad way, but everybody knew I was in the studio and I was, I was doing stuff. I was good. They had like award. What'd you call these things? They had like these awards they would do every time like a quarter ended, and I was always getting awards. They just stopped giving them to me. Yeah,
Too much.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Basically, the last award they gave me was like best overall in the program, like because they used to have like a bunch of categories, like radio edit, best mix, and all. I was always getting them. And one year I submitted too much stuff. They just gave me best overall in the program. I was like, all right,
there you go.
I guess I'll take it.
You had to make them create a whole new category.
Yeah, a whole new category. People thought I was a teacher there. It was funny.
That's hilarious.
I had a lot of fun.
What'd you do after school? Because you can only be there so many years, right?
Right. So I wound up getting out, and it was kind of.
Was that something that was like, oh shit, I don't know what to do?
Nah, I was
before you went out.
Nah, before I got out, I actually got an opportunity again from a known like platinum producer. He wanted me to fly to New York. I was like walking into school late to class because he's talking to me for like 45 minutes. Like, yo, you need to come up to New York. I'll make sure you're okay. This, that, and the third. And I wound up not going just because everybody talked me out of it. Because I was like, I'm going. This is the reason you go to school, so you can get paid.
Yeah.
I'm going to go get paid, Everybody talked me out of it. I didn't go. So I went from there to I was starting to go to this place that did they did audio for like movies and TV and stuff.
Yeah.
I was going to one of those kind of studios. And the guy was just kind of trying me out. I was like, okay, I see you know Pro Tools and stuff. Yeah, we're gonna try you out and see. And I was doing okay over there. They liked me over there. It was a cool environment.
Well, they teach that in the other school too, right? Or there's only music.
I don't think they really didn't have like a great curriculum.
Gotcha.
So you kind of, you learn the basics, and depending on who your teacher is, you'll start to understand some of the stuff you can do.
Gotcha.
So like one of the first teachers we had, they taught a little. He understood film. You know what I'm saying? He was real good with film. He wasn't an audio guy, but he understood film.
Right.
So he kind of taught us like, hey, you could turn these sounds to make sound effects for movies. Like I remember one class, we turned the ceiling fan on and made it sound like a helicopter.
Yeah.
And that was like mind blowing to me back then. It was like, oh man, you can make this, just by compression and EQ and stuff like that. That's cool. So that's the closest to the film stuff that we got to,
Do you ever do any Foley work?
Did some fake Foley work, like a little bit for like
how do you
for
do
like
fake
a
Foley
car.
work?
Because I don't think it was like, I didn't like take the, how they have like the little places you can like make your steps with your boots and stuff like. So to me, I consider that real Foley work when you're actually, okay, I'm looking at the screen. These are the sound effects I want, and I'm gonna do, So I didn't do anything like that, but applying just like some sound effects to like some cartoons. It was just like some kind of BS like school project kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I ain't got to do it on like a real project. The other projects I did was like sweetening or compression and stuff on like TV shows.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Gotcha.
I wanted to get into movie trailers. This guy did a bunch of Nickelodeon stuff, but he also did all the movie trailers.
Nice.
That's what I was hoping to get into, because that's where the fun Foley and FX stuff was. But I didn't get there yet.
Was that so is that the same guy that you went to the movie studio?
Well, it was the same studio. So the guy I met, they just happened to have some kind of night where they was like meeting a bunch of the alumni and stuff together. And I met him there. He knew I knew Pro Tools. They had a Pro Tools. Their whole suite is Pro Tools. So it was like, yeah, let's see what we can do. And then when I was meeting everybody, one of the guys there, he had his own suite. He was like, yeah, he did all the movie trailers and all the stuff for the kid shows.
Nice.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah. He was real cool. He built studios too, and we just instantly clicked. He was a real cool guy.
Yeah. Well, I think you're pretty good at that too. There's like just networking.
And,
and finding the right people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And making it work for yourself. But everyone has an agenda when they're networking, right?
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean.
To succeed into the next level.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that's the best way.
I feel like it has to be a win-win.
It definitely has to be a win-win.
Yeah.
But I think when you're networking, you don't want to think about it as like, agenda, like, hey, I got to make sure. You definitely want to have the goal in mind just when you're going through life anyway. Right. This is what helps you get to your goal. Like, hey, my goal is to be the best podcaster in the world. I'm going to keep that in mind when I wake up, go to bed, go to the grocery store, because then I'm going to set steps in order to do that.
Right.
So when I'm networking, I'm not really networking. I'm just kind of curious about other people. So like, cool, hey, what you do? Oh, that's cool that you do that stuff. And it's funny because I got like and I use notes on my iPhone. So I write notes like, cool, I met Steve at the grocery store on this day at this place, and he does A, B, C, and D. So if I happen to meet, like say I could be talking to you and I'll be like, you could be like, hey, I need somebody to do color grading. Man, I just met this dude at the grocery store named, I probably wouldn't say I met at a grocery store, but I met this guy named Steve and he does color grading. You'd be like, word, yeah. And I could straight pull up his information and I could shoot it over to you. And I think that's the power of networking. You just even connecting other people. Yeah, I don't need a color grader, but it doesn't mean that we can't, both kind of help each other out. Yeah. Or he can help somebody in my circle out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So I try to look at it that way. I try to be a connector where I can. So
curiosity is the goal when networking.
Yeah. Generally being interested in what somebody else is doing.
Yeah.
Just
in what you're doing.
Be genuine, generally interested.
Like,
like, why are you doing that? What are you doing?
I think.
Why are you in a park with a camera?
People like that too when they ask the questions about yourself. Like, oh well, I do this.
Yeah. Most people they just want to talk about themselves.
Yeah.
I probably rambled a couple of times just now, and it's like, yeah, I like talking about myself. But everybody likes doing that.
Yeah.
So
makes them feel.
Make it appreciated, important, or heard. There's a lot of people go around that never heard.
Right.
And you can go there and be like, hey, how you doing? I just got pizza before I got here. The guy remembered me because I talked to him. I ain't been there in like probably since my son was born, like 3.5 years ago.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I ain't seen you in a while. And I'm, hey, how you doing? What are you doing? And I'm generally talking to him because I'm interested in what he was saying.
Right.
But then if something come along with that, like, oh, you need a mover? No problem. I can go on my Rolodex and give him a mover. It helps benefit. It's a benefit.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You keep that kind of thing in mind? It's like, oh, well, if I'm just like, really asking these people genuine questions about them and what they do, then maybe they could be an asset later down the road.
Yeah, I mean, but again, I got the Rolodex. So even when, it's like I'm going to talk to people and I'm going to write it down. If I'm looking for that thing, all I got to do is type it in my notes and it's going to pop up.
Yeah. You still do that?
Yeah. I still do that. So like I saw about color grading, I can go on my phone right now and just search under notes because notes is it just searches automatically. It's all in the notes.
Yeah.
And I can just look up color grading and it's going to pop up. I could look up plumber Raleigh. And when plumber and Raleigh come up, it's going to hand me to all the plumbers in Raleigh, plumbers in Raleigh. It's just,
damn.
You use your notes. It's super easy. You don't need a
That's interesting.
CRM or nothing like that. Just, I can scan a business card, you throw it in there, and I'll be like, cool. Man, somebody was looking for a roofer in Selma, and I could just type it in roofer Selma and it'll pop up. And that's
interesting.
Yeah.
I gotta start doing that.
Yeah, do it. Yeah, it's a game changer.
You just put it in notes?
Yeah, just put it in notes. I got a folder in notes. You don't need to put it in a folder, but I just do that to do it. And it's just anytime you meet somebody, especially when you're interested in what they're doing, you just write their name, where you met them at, and like what they do. And I put what city I'm in or what cities they service or something like that. And then just like little details that I think I would search to look that up. Yeah, I just put that in there.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't know that you could find keywords in notes.
Oh yeah. You can look up anywhere. It finds written handwriting as well. So if you write with an Apple Pencil, it'll read that. You don't even have to type it out. It'll read that. You just like type it up. It comes up.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's dope, man.
Use a tech.
Yeah. Exactly.
Use a tech.
So you went into this the movie industry, right? Well, you're curious about it.
Yeah, I can't say it's music. I was just at the studio.
Just at the studio,
figuring stuff out.
But that, you were starting to figure stuff out. But so what happened with that?
Well, I did actually, because like I said, it was trying me out. So I did a couple of jobs I got paid for. But before I really got into it with them, because they was about to offer me a position, I started getting deep into the church. So that really took me away from, I guess, really going into like a real good like paying gig. I went to the church, was almost like, I would say it's almost it was more volunteerish because it's not like they paying a lot, So I went into that. So
okay,
yeah, it was real weird. I don't even know why. I do know why. I would say I don't know why, but I do know why. It's not really I'm looking for stuff, but I still didn't have a real goal of what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I think if you don't have a real, like I said, if you have a goal, you wake up, you think about that. That's where you go to. And I think that had me going in that direction for the church. That wasn't what I wanted to do. I was just doing it because somebody needed some help. Like, hey, I need some help here. All right, cool. I could do that. No problem.
Yeah.
You
know what, man? Like when you have something like music and rapping and production, all that stuff, when you have something like that, you're really focused on it, right? And then you're not doing that. You're doing something else. But you can't quite find something that fits exactly the feeling that you have.
You're right about that. Yeah.
I think that's why I feel like we're pretty similar in that aspect of like that's why we kind of bounce from one thing to another and doing different things. Stuff like
I think that's definitely true. Somebody was asking me about that yesterday, day before yesterday, because it was like, man, this guy do all types of businesses, and it was like, it's not like I got all those businesses. I just like trying stuff out, and I'm trying to figure out, what hits and what's something that I like, because it's not like I'll do a business and it don't make money. I can make money out of the business, but it's just something I feel like doing.
Exactly.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah. So. It feels like when you tell somebody that, like I tell someone, I was like, I can do a lot of different things. It's just about what I want to do. It's like, oh, you could do a lot of different things. Congratulations.
It's probably the way you said it. It's probably the way you said it. That's what it is.
It's like I didn't mean to.
Yeah.
How do you say that without?
Yeah. It's just like, hey, the multiple talents can hurt you sometimes. Like, yeah, I could build a website. Yeah, I can do studio engineering, live event production. I can do a lot of this stuff. But yeah, I think that makes it harder to kind of dive in. Like, hey, this is my passion. I'm gonna just do it.
Yeah.
But sometimes I think that passion may not just be a linear thing. Maybe it is music. Maybe music is it, or maybe it's music was satisfying what that passion was, and we're just kind of that's why we fell into it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, I mean, just like you. I mean, it all started with music,
right?
With me as well,
right?
And now here we are.
right. But I still do stuff. I was just helping out at the studio just before I came here.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
Dope. Are you getting back into it a little bit, or
one of my good friends is, so now I'm like in the studio, I'm just helping him out. I'm trying to be because I don't have the time like I used to.
Right.
Like, I got kids now, so I'm not gonna be at the studio all the time.
Yeah.
But that's like one of my best friends. So it was like, hey, you need help? I'm gonna help you where I can. I ain't gonna let nobody, take advantage of him, which he's not anyway. But some need to be hooked up, and that's my link. Hey, let me do that.
Yeah. You were always a good friend. You're always like looking out for your friends and your close friends, you know. Stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's always good. A good trait to have. So you helped out at the church, and was this like a regular thing? Did it become a regular thing? You're like,
Yeah.
I didn't want to do this on a regular basis.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of knew it was gonna be a regular thing because they was paying me, so it was like cool.
Okay.
They was paying me a little bit, not like they was paying me much, but you know, I was doing that, and it was like an hour away from my house. So like 6 days a week, I was driving an hour one way and an hour back.
Damn.
You know, and it was crazy. It was nuts, and I was still in that whole mind frame of like, hey, I want to be in the hip hop industry, but not be a hip hop artist or a producer or whatever like that. So I had a media company that I was doing at the time, and we did, matter of fact, like one of the first podcasts, especially the first hip hop podcast, getting played in, you know, a whole bunch of countries. Like I had people contacting me from, you know, Japan or the UK or Brazil and stuff like that. Yeah, it was cool, real cool. And then you know, I almost jumped off a TV show, but that was like a little bit different. I didn't understand the TV politics, so I couldn't pull that off.
Right.
But I had like an iPhone app for the media stuff. People would call me or would they email me or whatever, put their song on the app, and there's other people that had the app and they'll play all the new music from it. You know, that's why I learned about websites. You know, I had to get a website built, and after it's built, you know, I had to figure out how to keep it up. So
Yeah.
you know, I learned about websites doing that.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that was real fun. I did a lot of stuff in the hip hop scene, especially in North Carolina too.
Yeah. It's some stuff that you started or a part of.
Now I started and I did, and I was doing it almost dolo. Luckily, I had help with the podcast, with one of my friends, so that helped a lot. And then the website stuff I was doing dolo. You know, we would go out to like events and stuff, take pictures. We doing videos and stuff. Matter of fact, I did the behind the scenes of J. Cole's that shoot they did in Fayetteville.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that.
Nice.
Which that got me like, a lot of people set my phone up off of that, which is interesting. It's just because it was J. Cole, but
Right.
it's not like it was the greatest edit in the world. But it's just, dang, he was there. Like, yeah, I'm there. I know people. You know.
Right. He was a part of it. Oh.
I think that was always the funniest thing because I noticed that was a turn at the church too, because I didn't tell nobody at the church nothing, but I wasn't phony about who I was. So I'm mostly time in my shirt that I made for my company, my media company. I always had that on, just had it on in different colors.
Nice.
And people knew that I was at the shoot. I don't know how they knew. And then they was even trying to point me out in the video and stuff. It was kind of funny. It was cool, but yeah.
So, I mean, I feel like at this point in your life, you were just kind of doing different things in the hip hop industry, right?
Yeah. Basically, I had an open mic in Chapel Hill.
Yeah.
So that was crazy too. Like, you know, Sunday morning, I get up like 5 a.m, go to the church, do 2-3 services, sleep on the chairs, and then I would drive to Chapel Hill and do an open mic over there, and then I would go home. So I'd be up for like 20 hours on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like crazy.
With everything that you did, was it always like some type of money coming in, or is it free? Gotcha.
Nah, that's like, because it wasn't. I want to say it was free because it was like me trying to generate. That's where the hip hop stuff got kind of weird because it was like I can do stuff to make a lot of noise, but it's like how do you make it monetary? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, cool. It's cool you got this podcast, but how do you find the money to get the money for all these people that are hitting you up? And that was the part I could never connect. And the only reason I couldn't connect it because I was doing everything myself. So I had to unlearn that too. Like I could easily do all this stuff myself.
Yeah.
You can't do everything yourself.
Yeah.
You know,
When did you realize that?
way later. Way later. Because even a few of them businesses I was starting, it was like, cool, I'm doing everything on my own. I know it is a problem doing it on my own, but it's like I can do all this on my own. So like even now it's like getting more into when I'm learning something, it's most of the time learning about processes and management. Those are the two big things.
Yeah.
Because everything else I can do, but it's not really meant for me to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like if I could see the overall picture. I mean, you see like the shows we do, it's like, hey, I'm producing, but I don't have to move a chair. I don't have to go touch a mic. I let the person next, like, all right, you're here to help me. Can you do this? And, make sure you reach out other people.
It's a little bit different when you have your own business, right? I mean, because in order to have that other person, you probably have to pay them and stuff like that.
Yep.
And so that's where you're doing it on your own.
But even just being clear about the what you need. Like it's easier, like in the settings we're in, there's already clear roles and what they need to do. We already know that going in. So when you have your own business, you got to create those things, which a lot of people don't understand. you know. So it's like, okay, I create a business. Even if it was like, hey, I'm gonna have a food truck and I'm gonna do this. It's okay, like, but who's gonna order the food? Who's gonna prep? Who's gonna do your accounting? Like, it doesn't all have to be you.
Right.
You know,
right.
and then when you do have somebody in that place, are you even pricing your stuff well enough so you can have that person there? Because I think a lot of people hurt themselves by wanting to start a business and be cheaper than everybody else. Like, there's a reason why prices are the price they are.
Yeah.
So they go in there like, yeah, they sell their hamburgers for $3. I'm gonna sell it for $1, and I'm a kill everybody. And then you realize like that $1 hamburger ain't getting me far because you know I need some help.
Yeah.
So yeah,
The expenses.
yeah. So it's all definitely all a learning process.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then I guess from there you just went into events, right?
Yeah. I was really getting frustrated with the whole church scene thing, the way it was going. And I was like a media director. So anything that was plugged into a wall, I did. But I really didn't. I was like kind of learning on my own. I really didn't understand stuff. I was just kind of figuring it out. So that was like when audio first got digital. I had to learn a digital board so I could help wire it in the new church.
Oh yeah.
Like, didn't know what I was doing, you know. I was learning. That's why I learned video switching and all that stuff. They bought a video switcher. I didn't know nothing about video. I learned it, had to hook up the systems and, you know, figure it out. Yeah. You know, and it worked out. So
did you like that kind of thing?
Well, I like being around all the equipment and stuff. The equipment stuff I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
I just didn't like having to all right, like I need to go somewhere where I could learn from somebody or I can kind of get a gist of like what I'm doing. I don't like doing stuff halfway. So to me, that whole time I was doing that stuff at the church, it was like duct taping stuff together, which drives me up the wall. Like, I want to do it the proper way. So it's like, you know, let's make all this stuff look good. You're not going to associate my name with something that's duct taped together. I don't like that. So so basically I got introduced to this guy. He had a studio, real cool guy. I could consider him more of like a mentor more than anything because he really introduced me to the corporate event live production side of things. Right. He's like, hey man, you should talk to this production company because they do productions and they do stuff for different people. And when he did that, it was all uphill from there because the rest of the stuff I can handle. It's not like I don't have work ethic or know what, you know. Even with me not having the knowledge, I have more than enough soft skills to get me through any situation without having the skills of any industry. Yeah. You know. That's
true. Yeah, especially if you're like a sponge.
Yeah.
And you just learn.
Yeah. But even without learning, like I can get around without even learning stuff. It's just the way that I interact with people, being on time, being humble, and just willing to like, hey, you let me know. I'm not gonna come in there with no ego. Like you let me know what I need to do. I'll go in there and do it. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, that'll get you far.
Yeah, exactly.
Just those things right there.
Exactly, and it always has. It definitely always has. Just doing those things, I can get anywhere.
Interesting. All right, thanks, man.
Yeah. But yeah, the corporate world, I definitely appreciate the corporate world because that's what really started coming in.
Yeah. Money does come in there.
Yeah. It's almost like you can make your own money really, like doing it the right way. It's just like you don't have to be with one company. You can just like, cool, I'm gonna just freelance. Yeah. And I mean, any city with some hotels, I can go in and make some money. I feel like, you know, it's not,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Anything that has a banquet hall or a banquet room, I mean. And then you could just take that knowledge too and just bring it into your own businesses and all that stuff as well. The way they do things and stuff, right?
What do you mean by the way they do things?
Like the corporate.
You get a lot of free events, so you get a lot of free knowledge. That helps.
Free knowledge, yeah.
Like, man, they paid this guy $100,000 to come here, and I'm sitting here for free. This is great.
Yeah, that's true.
I get here for free. It's cool.
So you have kids now.
Yeah, man. Got two. Well. Keep me busy. Well, keep me busy, I should say.
Right. Yeah. Did you always want to have kids?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I always wanted to have kids. It was just like, you know, always kind of like, I want to make sure like everything is set up right or, you know, have the right woman and things like that. So like always wanted to have kids, but, you know, got with the right woman and it was like, cool, we got a kid coming, you know? Yeah. So I still didn't even plan it, but, you know, worked out. There's no perfect date to do that. Right. I don't think there is.
What was your reaction to your first kid?
To the first one?
That she was pregnant.
Man, I mean, I was like shocked and happy at the same time. I was like, oh shit.
But you guys were living together at the time, right?
Yeah. So
it was kind of like already kind of the next step in life.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Yeah. Because that was Man. So, and I'm not sure if you know, because like we was married before we actually had our like ceremony.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we was already married. So it was like shortly after that, she's pregnant, and then it was like, oh, we had the ceremony, and she was pregnant during the ceremony. You know? So some people would see like it went backwards, but yeah, it wasn't order. It wasn't order. Like
right.
we was staying together. We was married, and then like he came up with we actually had like losses before that, so it was like just appreciative to have like a healthy baby, because before that it was like, oh man, like we had a loss, and you know that hurts, you know. So but yeah, getting past that,
and then you got to be tough for her too, right, during those times.
Yeah. No, it's definitely I think,
but at the same time you're hurting too.
Yeah, but it's definitely more. It was more probably for her than it was for me. So it was like, you know, trying to. I definitely had to learn a lot during that time, just trying to be able to be empathetic without actually totally soaking it in, because then you know I feel in some ways that can kind of crush you too, you know. So yeah, so definitely trying to figure out that balance. Like, yeah, I'm here from you. I'm empathetic, but it's like I don't want to hold all what you're feeling in me too. Is just like help her through that situation.
Yeah. You got to protect your aura.
Yeah, I want to say protect the aura. It's just like I'm not going to get further down, because I tend to do that. Like I think that buffering thing comes from too. It's just like I could see somebody going through something, and I'm really putting myself in their shoes. Like, how would I feel in that situation? And I'll have the same feeling that they have if I'm really thinking too hard about that.
Gotcha. And it just brings you down.
Yeah, it'll put me in that same emotional state, you know, that they're in. If I, you know, just try to think of it from my side, maybe a little bit different.
Yeah,
so, But it's good to have, so you can understand, like, okay, they might be going through something. Maybe I can help them in this way, or things like that. So my wife, it was like, yeah, I'm definitely trying to be there for her, but, you know, I still have to, you know, still got to pay bills, still got to have things coming in. I got to make sure she's okay, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, do my best to be empathetic, but not way too empathetic and not soak too much in. Yeah. You know.
Well, that's good advice right there.
Yeah. So I'm not sure that's the right way to do things, but that's the way I did it.
I think it seems logical.
Yeah. Very logical. I do have a logical way of thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, you do.
Black and white.
Well, that's cool, man. Do you have any advice for someone who is starting a business?
Yeah, I mean, just have a plan and don't be scared, you know. Talk to somebody that does what you're trying to do. I think that's probably a big thing too.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know if a lot of people do that.
I don't think they do.
Yeah, they just want to start a business with self-learning from their own, but they're not like talking to somebody who's actually
the self-learning. I actually like the self-learning thing, but it's just if you don't have the fundamentals of like, what does a business do? And I think a lot of people skip over the make money part, and then they be like, yeah, I can make my own schedule and I can help people. Like that sounds great. It's a great sound bite, but like you have to make money, you know, and it has to make sense.
Yeah. What are the working mechanisms in the back end?
Exactly. Like if you build it, they ain't coming. It doesn't work that way. Like you gotta market. I think that's what I heard a lot of people too. They gotta actually talk to people to get money. And if you don't talk to nobody, you're not going to get anything. Yeah. You know, I forgot who this was, but I remember somebody wanted me to help them with some kind of business. I forgot what this was, but yeah, they didn't want to go out and talk to people about their own business. Oh wow. It just like took me back a little bit. I was like, wait, so like you want people to come to you for your whatever I forgot what it was. It's like, but you want people to come to you, give you money for stuff, whatever it was. But you don't want to tell nobody that you do or you sell this thing.
That's interesting.
And there's a lot of people like that, you know, even network marketing. Yeah. That's why
network marketing.
You got a bunch of people that are trying to be salespeople and they don't do sales. They're not salespeople. So when they come up to you talking about like, hey, I got this thing and it does this thing and you can make money. It just sounds weird. Like you're putting these people in these awkward situations. Like,
too salesy. I guess you could say.
It's not even salesy. It's just awkward. Because they're not salespeople. If they was salespeople, it would be like more organic or make a little bit more sense. Right. But somebody who's getting like, hey, I got, you know, they got their packet in their gun hole and they're just calling everybody on their phone. It's just awkward. Like I don't want that. Nah, you know, no, I'm not coming over. It's awkward, you know. So
that's right. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming.
Cool.
Any last words?
Peace.